welcome to a brand new video on the YouTubes. Perfect. Anyways, today we are gonna try something new, and I'm gonna make this video and I'm gonna upload it after I edit it. So essentially what I'm gonna be doing is sharing the Word of God on my channel. And a little disclaimer before we begin: I am not the smartest person in the world. I have not studied the Bible front and back, but I want to use this opportunity to share my opinions, share my beliefs, talk about the way I feel, and just to kind of put it out there for anyone to see, hopefully for people to watch. But anyways, here we go. The topic, what we're going to be talking about today is this: why, if we are under control of a God who's almighty and powerful, is it that bad things happen to good people, or just in general? These can include anything from people losing their grandmas and grandpas, people getting sick, people getting broken hearts, depression, mass murders, stuff like that. There's a lot of bad stuff in this world that's happening right now. It happens every single day, and it's happened from the beginning of time. So I think we can all agree that that's pretty easy to see. But along with the bad stuff, there's a thing called good, good stuff, and that's pretty important to remember. Here's why. Can we all agree that there's a moral line between good and bad? I think we can, because without bad, is there really a good? I wouldn't, I mean, I don't think so. You don't have to be religious to see the moral line between good and bad. You can look at the news, see that somebody murdered another person on the streets, and you can say, oh, that's bad. That's obviously an example of a bad thing. But we look at people who go out and feed the homeless, and we say that's a good thing, which it is. It's a good thing to go out and feed the homeless. So what I'm trying to get at is it's just a general accepted line between good and bad. It's moral consciousness that allows us to determine that there's a line there. But also, one of the biggest points that I want to make in this video is it not free will that gives us the ability to determine the difference between good and bad? Say, if we had no free will, where would our conscience lie on the distinction between good and bad? Without good, what could be considered bad? Without bad, what could be considered good? If nothing bad ever happened, then would there be good? No. I mean, no. If you ask me, I would say odds are there wouldn't really be a such thing as love, how we see it nowadays. We wouldn't have this sense of thankfulness and appreciation like we do. Just general stuff like that. If there wasn't bad, then there wouldn't be anything to call good. Everything would just be kind of there. If someone were to say, okay, hey, Summit went and fed the homeless today, they'd be like, okay. It's just like, it's an action. It's not a good or bad action, because if there's no good or bad, then there's nothing to compare it to. That sounded like a whole lot of jabbering on. Let's just try to break this down a little bit. So it's kind of like a Trinity effect. Like, you can't remove one of the things and keep the others. It doesn't remain the triangle. That's a triangle. So, without free will, we wouldn't have good and bad. Without good, we wouldn't have bad, and without bad, we wouldn't have good. It's kind of confusing. Like, it's a hard concept to wrap your mind around sometimes, especially just hearing it for the first time. And it's I would go as far to say is it's like even harder to explain, but I think you'll get the gist of what I'm saying. See, God gave us free will on purpose. If he didn't, then wouldn't we all just be a bunch of believers? If God didn't give us free will, we would all just know that God exists. We'd all be Christians. We'd all have the same mindset. But on the contrary, in reality, God gave us free will so that we're not slaves in a way. We're our own people. We're our own consciousness with our own souls. And he did that on purpose. If he didn't, like I said, we would all just kind of be the same. So, because of our free will, we are allowed to determine that there is a moral line between good and bad. And that is why all three of these things are so essential to one another. So, why does God continue to let bad things happen if he can just stop it? Well, if you didn't know, one of the biggest portions of being a Christian is accepting the proven fact that you are not perfect, that we all mess up, and that we all sin every single day. So, let me ask you this. If we were all perfect, would we need God? The answer to that question is pretty obvious. No, we wouldn't need God. We wouldn't need Jesus, who suffered and died on the cross for us, because we would all be perfect. There wouldn't be a purpose in having a higher up, someone to help us through. It'd be pointless if we were all perfect. Not to say that we don't need to strive to be great people, strive to not sin, if that makes any sense. But it's a good thing that we're not perfect, because if we were, then where would we be? Who would we be other than just the same person, essentially? So, what I'm trying to say is that God shows us that we need him through our imperfections, so that we may one day be with him, that he can guide us through our life right now. It's not that God is sitting in a chair in heaven saying, you know what, I think I want to watch this village starve today. Don't you want to watch this village starve, Gingy? No, that's the God we worship isn't the God that people sometimes think of, the one that the God that we worship, the God that I worship. He's the God who places adversities in our way so that we can see that we need him in order to overcome them. He's the one who helps us through them. But in order for him to come and help us through them, we have to personally accept him to come into our lives so he can. See, a lot of people don't think of it this way, but it comes down to us. We are the ones who need to ask God to come into our lives, who need to, more importantly, have faith that God will come into our lives. It's the imperfections that we were placed with, the free will, the reason we have good and bad, the reason bad things happen is so we can see that we need God. So we can see that we need him in order to overcome the adversities. We need faith, and most importantly, that we need faith in God. Y'all have a blessed day, brothers and sisters. I'm going to be uploading probably several more of these videos. Definitely several more of these types of videos. I know I didn't go quite as in-depth in some aspects of this video that I wanted to. Hopefully the title's not going to be way too clickbaity. Let me just say this. I'm not a Bible scholar. I'm not an apologist. I'm not Ravi Zacharias, the great explainer of the Bible and God's ways. But if you do have any questions, go check out Ravi Zacharias. Just search him up on YouTube along with your question. Odds are you'll find something closely related to that. He does a great job explaining the things that many atheists, non-believers, and questioners have about the Bible and about things that happen in the world. And he really he hits home runs almost every time. But as I was saying, thank you all for watching. please feel free to share this video with someone if you have a feeling that they need to watch it or they need to see it or something. Don't be afraid to do so, because it's something you need to trust. Thank you all so much for watching, and I pray that you all have a blessed day. Peace.